Well, hi everybody. My name is Wesley Giorgio, and I'm going to be presenting on Chapter 11, which is titled Leadership, and my topic is the WWE. So, in a little bit of an overview of what we're going to be talking about, we're going to talk about the articles I found revolving upper management leaders within the WWE. For example, Triple H, who we'll get to later. We're going to tie in the notes and discussions from this week, Chapter 11 on leadership, and we're going to talk about who the major leaders are within the WWE. So you may be asking yourself, what is the WWE? Well, the WWE is weekly products that provide storytelling with physical action within a 4x4 squared ring. The WWE has Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and NXT, and the occasional once a month premium live event or pay-per-view. WWE's mission is to put smiles on people's faces by delivering high-quality family entertainment. I know for myself and my family, WWE has gave us a ton of memories and a ton of entertaining moments that we talk about forever, and it has really enhanced me and my dad's relationship. So a little bit more about the WWE. Some of the major innovations are WrestleMania, which is a once a year pay-per-view. It's like their Super Bowl. The WWE, they have a performance center, which develops their in-ring talent. They work on moves, holds, submissions. They have promo classes, and they also really focus on the hard camera, which is when you hit a move, you look into the camera, you can say your catchphrase, or when you're cutting a promo or talking to the WWE audience, you look into this camera. And they've handled many crises throughout their existence, but the main one that I want to talk about is the COVID-19 pandemic. They performed the whole way through the COVID-19 pandemic. Major sports organizations like the NBA, the NHL, and even the NFL had a hard time continuing to put weekly products out because of COVID-19. But WWE persevered. They moved all of their weekly TV shows to the Performance Center and filmed everything there. And they performed the whole way through COVID-19. So I think that's a good example of how to manage a serious crisis. So you may be asking yourself, what is leadership? The concept of leadership is the needs of organizations change, which can be affected by many factors. For example, some of these factors are changes in technology or globalization. I also wanted to add that leadership is the ability to influence people towards an achievement of goals. So just achieving your goals, motivating somebody and pushing them to achieve their goals. And finally, I want to talk about how management and leadership reflect, two different sets of qualities and skills that can frequently overlap. I think that ties into just what leadership is. Leadership is a ton of responsibilities, and you have to be a special type of person to be able to motivate people on a consistent basis to be the best they can be. So I think that's where that comes in for me. Now, you may also be asking yourself, what is a leadership trait? Well, a leadership trait distinguishes personal characteristics of a leader. For example, honesty or intelligence, When I give the example of when you're working for a boss, so let's say Walmart, you want your boss to understand what the consumer wants, how much the consumer comes in, and how overall the product and your employees are working. So I think that's how I tie in leadership traits when I'm explaining it. Now, there also are strengths that can define a leader, such as their natural talents and ability, and these strengths are supported with learned knowledge. Again, I'll give the example of the Walmart boss. You want your boss to trial and error things because you never know what's going to work and what's not going to work. So with time and experience, all the learned knowledge you're going to understand are going to help you pull out certain employees' natural talents and their best abilities to do their best at the job. Now, there are also top 5 qualities for leaders, and there are top 5 qualities for followers. So for the leaders, you want to be honest, competent, you want to be forward-looking, you want to be inspiring, and you also want to be intelligent, which I kind of talked about on the last slide. Now, for the followers, you want to be honest, competent, dependable, cooperative, and loyal. We're going to talk about Triple H here on the next slide, but I think it's important to talk about him here. Triple H has been through it all within the WWE, something we're going to talk about as well when we get to his slides. But he is really good at inspiring, and he is really intelligent when it comes to how to run the WWE. Now, as a WWE wrestler, who would be the followers or the employees in this scenario, they're very dependent on Triple H and his opinions and how honestly he critiques them. And they're also really loyal. They want to work for the guy. They want to work for Nick Khan as well, who we're going to get to as well. So I think that's how I can tie that into the WWE. Now, on to Triple H. The articles I use for my information that I'm going to talk about here are as followed on the slide. Triple H, that's a picture of him. This is when he retired from his in-ring action at WrestleMania. And this is when he began to take more of his role that he's into now. So again, Triple H, he is now the Chief Content Officer, or the COO of the WWE. Again, he is a former professional wrestler himself. He is a charismatic leader, and he is currently taking the WWE to new heights. Again, Triple H is also known as Paul Levesque, and he is again the Chief Content Officer. The articles I found outline his new responsibilities, his vision for WWE's content, and his contributions to the company. And I found this piece useful for understanding the strategic decisions of the WWE's content creation and how Triple H or Paul Levesque is the driving force of it all. Again, Triple H has taken the WWE to the new heights. Like I said before, he shattered records that have been held for decades, and he revitalized the WWE and professional wrestling. And I think this is because since he was a wrestler, he understands the business and what the WWE fans are looking for. And he also understands what the wrestlers want out of their leader or their person calling the shots. Again, he is a charismatic leader, and you may also be asking yourself, what is a charismatic leader? A charismatic leader has the ability to inspire and motivate people to do more than they would normally do, despite obstacles and personal sacrifice. Again, Triple H has personally sacrificed his life to the WWE. He's been with this business for 30 years. He's been through all the ups and the downs, and most wrestlers, when they're in an interview talking about Triple H, they always talk about how he inspires them to be the best person they can be and pushes them to take risk to develop their character. I also think humility is present within Triple H. Again, he's been a part of many crazy segments throughout his WWE career. If you look up Triple H and D-Generation X and the WWE, you'll find some crazy segments and you'll understand how much humility Triple H has in himself. And finally, to end with Triple H, I think he is an authentic leader. He understands himself as well as the WWE as a whole, like I've stated before. And he also understands what the fans really want to see within the WWE. Now we're on to Nick Khan. Nick Khan in this picture is on the left. In the middle is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is shown on the right. That is his mother. Just wanted to add some context so we know who is who. The articles I use, links are here, shown below. And let's talk about Nick Khan now. Nick Khan is a booming name within WWE and professional wrestling. He is the right-hand man to Triple H. He makes the strategical decisions surrounding the company and is considered to be a leader within the WWE now. And I also think reward power is present when talking about Nick Khan. So the articles I found shedded light on Nick Khan's role in deciding talent, forming business partnerships, and increasing ad revenue. These are highlighted and emphasized as his crucial role in the WWE's evolving leadership landscape. The article is valuable for understanding how Khan's vision and management approach are shaping WWE's new business strategies and operations. And again, Khan is Paul Levesque's right-hand man, or Triple H. Khan helps sign the talent to the rosters of the WWE, as well as other key leadership roles such as business partnerships and ad revenues, as we talked about before. And in my opinion, I think when you talk about Triple H or Nick Khan, you have to bring up either one because they are like a 1-2 punch, thunder and lightning, pick and roll for basketball, if anybody knows what that is. Now on to reward power. Reward power stems from the authority to bestow rewards on other people. Nick Khan's main goal is to bring more eyes onto the WWE. So if you're doing your job as a professional wrestler with a championship, or just putting yourself out there more, he's going to reward you. He's going to reward you with more matches, more promos, more developed storylines. So I think that's how reward power ties in with Khan. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about Khan is I think he's also an interactive leader. He enjoys bringing in celebrities such as Jelly Roll or Bad Bunny to have matches or perform on the pay-per-views or the main shows. He also brings in professional athletes such as George Kittle, who is a tight end for the 49ers. And he wants to use these collaborations to boost viewership within the WWE. Again, I think if you're a 49ers fan and you see George Kittle, you ask yourself, do you think he ever could show up in a WWE ring and have a match? And it's just going to bring more eyes onto the WWE itself. Finally, we're going to talk about Vince McMahon. And the articles I use for Vince, again, are shown below. So Vince is a former owner of the WWE. He held creative control within the company during his whole time there. He also helped the WWE sell or merge the company to TKO. He was eventually the company's bad apple. He had a sexual assault case, which is what we're going to touch on here, which is the main point of Vince. And he also had a good relationship with Triple H. So the Bleacher Report articles that I found really helped shed light on the Triple H and Vince's relationship. The articles were crucial for understanding the internal power structures and leadership interactions within the WWE. And I also found this interesting because it shows how Vince's sexual assault cases really drastically changed the WWE. When they were trying to sell, or after they sold the company to TKO or merged it with the UFC and TKO eventually, the stock got crushed. It went down. It was not a good marketing. It was not a good publicity for the company. It made the company look dirty, and it just overall was not a good look for them. I also found an article from CNN that provides a more in-depth analysis of the controversies and challenges that were faced by McMahon and what he did for and what risk he left with the company. My main goal here when I'm talking about Vince is to show that Triple H and Nick Khan are taking the creative and overall leadership roles in WWE more serious, and they want to try to right the wrongs for everything Vince has done. Triple H has said in interviews that he is out and looking and wants talent to talk to him about accusations that happen. They want to address these accusations, and they don't want them to be buried under hush money like the Vince McMahon cases. And they're taking more general rules to make sure it doesn't happen again. They're having meetings weekly. They're having therapists now. They're doing everything that they should be doing and that should have been done in the past. And I think the main point I wanted to bring up the lawsuits was because, again, it really affected the merger between the company with TKO and as well as just the WWE in general. And the other Bleacher Report article that I did have linked here talks more about Triple H and Vince McMahon's relationship and how throughout Triple H's career after he retired, Vince really helped him step into the role that he was in now. He showed him how to, develop storylines, talk to talent. And their relationship was just really good because Triple H is actually married to Vince's daughter, Stephanie McMahon, and she also helps Triple H run the company with business partnerships, and they all work together, her, Nick Khan, and Triple H. So one of the questions I'm going to answer is, what is the major management function these articles affected? And for me, it's kind of easy because the major management function these articles and the WWE in specific affected was leadership. The strategic vision was the WWE's long-term goals. Their main innovation was WrestleMania, as we touched on before. Again, we touched on crisis management, which was wrestling during the COVID-19 pandemic. We also touched on the talent development, which was the WWE Performance Center. But the one thing we didn't talk about was risk-taking. And this is before the Triple H era, but I think it is important to talk about the WWE here. The WWE used to be really PG, it was for kids. But with the shifting demographics, they took a more risk-taking approach, and they stepped into the attitude area. It was more edgy. There was more bleeding. There was more storylines that were edgy for the 18-plus audience. So I wanted to bring that up because I think that's important with risk-taking and leadership in general, because you have to take risks to be a good leader. The second question are, how are the articles specifically related to what we are learning? And I would say it relates mostly to the managers and employees section on leadership. And again, since Vince's departure, people want to come work for Triple H and Nick Khan. Like I talked about, they want to be there. They want to propel WWE into new heights, and they want to be the guy to do so. And again, Triple H and Nick Khan, and I guess Stephanie McMahon too as well, have created a positive environment and have created great relationships with the WWE wrestlers, or in this case, the employees. Like I said, people want to work with Triple H. They want to be interactive with Triple H. They see what Triple H and Nick Khan have done since Vince's departure, and they realize that it's better for them as performers and for their body, and they just enjoy being there, working with Triple H. And the final question is, why are these articles interesting to management? Or why do we just care? And for me, it was studying WWE provides valuable insight into innovation leadership, strategic risk management, and effective talent development, which offer crucial lessons for navigating and succeeding in today's dynamic and competitive business environment. I think the WWE as a whole can show how a good management company is run, especially now, from having multiple aspects of a good company. They also have many other positives as well to show that they are a good management example. And for example, some of these features would be great leadership, how, like we talked about throughout this presentation, their strategic innovation, their global expansion. They're taking WWE to France, Paris, which is in France, the UK, Canada, Puerto Rico. They are globally known now. And of course, their overall vision of making people smile and have a good time. So just to end on a little bit of a summary, I think this information is important to talk about because WWE's leadership is developing and they're trying to bring in new people with their goal being to develop and advance their product. With my sources that I brought, I added some information on why it's important to have multiple people doing key leadership jobs instead of just one person, aka Vince McMahon. I also wanted to address the key leaders within the WWE, for example, Nick Khan and Paul Levesque. And I also want to talk about their past leader, Vince McMahon, which I think we did. I think talking about Vince's allegations and how he ran the company compared to the new leaders was my main goal, especially talking and bringing up Vince's sexual assault case. I think it was important for me to show in this presentation that Vince was the bad apple and to present the new WWE and its new leaders in a positive realm. And people want to work there because they want the best for their company and the company now. But overall, I am really excited and happy with this presentation because of my passion for the WWE. I have a real true love for it. And I think it was a good way to show a real world example of how important leadership is within management. And finally, here are my sources in APA format. And that's all I have. So thank you very much.